Welcome back, everyone. Today we're at Chloe Kingdom's cross-country race. This is my second ever race, and I had learnt a lot from my first ever one at the Walton one. So, after a little bit of a confusing start, there's someone next to me just before has said, "Oh, we're going to be let go off in we're going to be let go in lines. So they'll do one line, another line, and then another line." And then it started, and then just everyone bloody went. So I was like, "Oh, okay, well." Didn't get quite the start I wanted, but whatever. I'm about mid-pack now. So yeah, this is Chloe Kingdom, hosted by Quinn, Alfonso, and Chloe, and they're like, this is around their family cottage, and this is up in Cloyne. Holy crap, this place is amazing, and probably the most bumpy, gnarly ride I've ever done in my life. Whoa. So, yeah, this place is, the ground is just covered in rocks and roots, and the terrain is not like the silky smooth terrains that I'm used to. I managed to do a log hop. It kind of paid off because everyone was queuing up to the right, and sure, I got a little bit stuck because the guy in front of me went to the left, so I panicked thinking he was going to fall, and then I went to the left and got stuck in a tree a little bit, but it's fine, it doesn't matter. I made it through. Made it over the log, and I actually gained a shitload of positions, which was nice. However, the story of this event, my main takeaway, is that whilst my speed is slow, I was still fairly happy with it. I was a bit more aggressive, so I'm trying to take positions where I see paths and stuff like that. I'm not just sitting around waiting in queue anymore. But I really need to learn how to fall, and I really need to not fall as much. Because every time I fell, I got myself stuck into like the most exhausting, annoying positions. It's not like I just did a little tip over on the trail. Like, you know, that would be fine, and you get back up in like 5 seconds. It really doesn't matter. But I'm not used to this like bumpy terrain. I've never ridden anything like this. Well, I don't know. Perhaps Thailand was kind of like this, but I've not been riding for very long. This is like, you know, early in my riding. And like this, I just got randomly caught out, and then tiptoe, 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 and now the bike is tire side up. It's like, fuck. Well, there goes some of the positions I gained. Pick the bike up, and now not only am I picking the bike up, I've got to lift the bike up over itself. Oh my god, it's exhausting. It's actually exhausting trying to do that. It's fine when it lands flat on its side, or even, you know, like against an embankment. That doesn't take up any energy. But when it's rubber side up, oh boy, that's exhausting. And that just saps a shitload of energy out of you, which I didn't need to be losing. And then, like, I lost like 5 places that I gained sneaking through a bush just now. So it's like, oh, god damn it. So, like I've been saying, I haven't really been riding dirt that much off-road before. This is, I could say it's like my 3rd season. I think before this race I had 26 and a half hours on the bike, on this bike. But before, I'd just been riding like a CRF 250L as a dual sport, and I had that for 2 years. And before that, I'd never ridden dirt before, so like I've been riding a lot on the road for a long time, but road riding doesn't translate to off-road riding almost at all. Like, sure, I can make the clutch go, brilliant. I can make the bike move, cool. I've got some very small amount of balance practice so that I can do a U-turn in the road, but none of that really matters when it comes to like riding bikes off-road in the dirt. It's just such a completely different skill set. Ooh, watch my head. And like, sure, okay, so you know, I did a bit of dual sporting the first year I arrived in Canada, like, you know, a few gravel roads, you know, dabbled. Before I actually came to Canada, I did a week in Thailand doing some enduro and learning how to ride off-road there, so that was fucking immense. That pretty much sold me on getting a dirt bike, or, you know, like an off-road bike when I got to Canada, because I was like, the roads here are kind of straight, and the trails are kind of immense, so yeah, I'm going to try this. So, you know, I started out on a dual sport, pretty heavy. The first year I didn't even really ride that much because I couldn't get my license for a long time. That was just a headache in itself. And then the second year I was starting to do a little bit more like, you know, rallies and stuff like that, you know, across long distance stuff, not really dirt biking still. But, you know, I was starting to get into like the trail riding and stuff. and then then I started. Whoops, he fell.
You alright?
He's fine. He's fine. I could hear him shout, "Yeah, I'm fine." Anyway, yeah. So then I did a little bit of that, and then once I was starting to get a little bit more confident and stuff, I was like, maybe I should just go and get a proper dirt bike, because I really want to start like trying to learn this trail stuff better. So you could say, like, arguably I don't have a huge amount of experience, and especially not in like actual racing. I never grew up as a peewee racer or anything like that. I never had a farm to practice on or learn on or anything like that. So you could say I'm very green to this. I've got 26 hours on this bike and probably like, I don't know, 50 on the CRF. So my total, like CRF, like off-road, not including road time, maybe even less than that, because a lot of the time was just driving out to the trails, ride for a few hours on nothing anywhere close to as difficult as this, and then head back to just head back home, back to Toronto. So doing log hops like this is all quite new to me. I've only managed to achieve a log hop that big. Earlier this year probably would have scared the shit out of me, but got out to Wildman, got practice in, get going. So I'm really happy with my performance, but I do need to learn how to fall over, because when I started falling to the side, I've got quite short legs. I've got like 30-inch legs, and sure, I'm not like super short, and this could be just me. Well, this is me making excuses, but basically I don't really know how to dismount properly, it seems, and that became really clear in this, because I would start making progress. I would start catching people. I could make it up some of these hill climbs. I make a position, and then I run slightly off the course, and I need to stop, and then I start trying to put my foot down, and I can't reach the ground, and I butt shuffle. But by the time I've tried to butt shuffle, I've tiptoed a few more times, and then I've fallen down the embankment like you saw right at the start, and it's just like, oh, for God's sake. And then it takes me, that one I got out fairly quickly, but later in the race, as I got more and more exhausted and fell down the same bloody embankment again, doing exactly the same thing, it took me longer to get out, because I was getting more tired. I've been riding this really gnarly, bumpy trail for quite some time at that point. I actually managed to make it 3 laps over this race. It was like 40 minutes and then like 50-50. And both those 50s, I don't have them on GoPro because the battery obviously ran out. But I can promise you my pace on the trail was quicker. But as a result, when I crashed and fell down something, I literally just got myself into worse and worse situations, and I got more and more exhausted just getting the bike out of like the most like frustrating of falls. And it's frustrating just because of my own skin. There's no other explanation about it. It's just me being bad. I just need to get better at everything, of course. But so had such a great time here. Oh my god. My hands were a complete mess by the end. I ripped my gloves, unfortunately. I felt, sad about that, actually. I was like, oh, my nice new gloves. I say new. I'd had them for like a month and a half. But I really like those gloves. Maybe I'll go buy another pair. They're not the Fox ones. They're like some Swifty, Nifty or some that were made in Canada. And, they're really soft, super light, super breathable. But I just snagged it on a tree and just ripped my hand straight open. I even cut my hand open on as well. I was bleeding everywhere, but whatever. Just racing around this property. Oh, so good. It's so bumpy. The GoPro obviously has hyper smooth on, and it's attached to my helmet, so you don't really see how much the bike is being shaken right now. The best you could probably guess is by just watching the rear of someone else's bike kick around, if you ever see it in shot. But to me, this is so bumpy, and my hands and my legs, I'm just like trying to grip with my knees as hard as possible. But the bike is just being shaken all over the place. I set my settings to fairly soft, and basically I would just imagine it to be as difficult as the hardest part of the Wildman course. you know, that like, ooh, 15, 25 meters or whatever of gnarly trail on Wild, man, basically was you just amplify that 15 meters into this entire course. So that's what I set my bike up for, and I feel like I made a fairly good choice. I don't really have too many complaints. Perhaps my suspension could be better. I don't really know. I feel it's just mostly my own skill and confidence and fitness. Early when I did some falls and I was picking the bike up, oh my god, I was so out of breath afterwards. But, you know, I persevered. I even started to almost reach some semblance of an arm pump during this. Like, I don't know, I see a lot of people talking about arm pump and stuff like that, and of course, perhaps they're like elite racers, so they're talking about some arm pump that I don't quite comprehend yet. But when I'm talking about arm pump, I'm usually thinking about how I feel when I'm rock climbing, and you know, once you're trying to climb some stupid grade with some, I don't know, bullshit. Not so much the crimps, but the ones where you've got your hand is basically just open, trying to crush. Not like a jug, because those are easy to hold on to, but like, you know, like a wider grip, and you're just like crushing and crushing and crushing, and you just feel like your hand just swelling with blood and your arms swelling with blood. This, I should have just gone more to the left or just committed to the smaller gap, but I thought the guy was going to lurch forward. But you know what? I think in hindsight, I should have just fucking gone for the gap, and then I wouldn't have got myself stuck against this tiny, tiny tree. Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, people were just getting all piled up on here. And, oh, this is actually one of the places that I just did something really fucking stupid. I don't know how I twisted the bike to go to the right. Now I'm off the course, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can get back on the course. I was going a bit slow, and then I fucking dropped the bike, and down I go. This isn't anything to do with height. This was just fucking stupid. This was just me being a dumbass, and now I'm tire side up, down what you could say is a relatively moderately steep hill. It's not super steep, but it's just steep enough to just exhaust me. Just shit like this I got to stop doing. I didn't do it any of the other laps that one, thank fuck. But, you know, it's still just dumb. Anyway, so yeah, the rock climbing stuff, like, I don't really feel like the pump that I get whilst rock climbing. I've never ever had the pump so bad on the bike. This, I was starting to feel it a little bit, and then I would just consciously think, squeeze harder with your legs, and then the pump just went away. So, you know, at least that I don't feel is a huge concern yet. I'm sure the narrow there. I'm sure the clutch lever that I bought, the Enduro Engineering one, helped massively, because holy fuck, you're using a lot of clutch to try and get through here, and like, I basically just lug the bike all over the place, but a lot of it is just lugging and clutching and feathering the clutch. So yeah, what a gnarly ass course. So even sections like this, it looks smooth. Actually, this one actually was smooth. That's why I gave it a little bit of throw there. But just around the corner, we're just heading back along like what you would think is a nice smooth path. That was probably the only rest on the entire course, apart from maybe the start line. But like even this, you're like, oh, this looks good, and then I'm just like, oh god, it's so bumpy. Everything is just so bumpy. Just I want to go faster, and you're just constantly being shook. And you're like, oh, maybe I could sit down for a little bit. Nope, just your ass is just getting fucking pounded by the bumpiness. Like, just watch the rear of that guy's bike, just like jittering around. Each one of those is a bump. Maybe I need to go faster, and I won't feel the bumps anymore. That probably is actually the solution. But at this point, I've cut quite a bit of the lap out, because like I said, it took 40 minutes and the video is 20, so obviously I've cut quite a chunk out. But at this point I was like, oh god, finally some rest. Yep, nope, straight back into it. There was very little smooth parts of the trail, but honestly, I love that. This was absolutely amazing. I had such a good time. Apparently last year it was even bumpier, but they actually went along the path and tried to like groom it a little bit and take away some of the rocks and cut down some of the stuff that was just in the way. But that didn't make it any less tight, and for me, this was right up at my limit. for now. I mean, watching the pro guys go by, when I got lapped, not the pro guys, sorry, when I got lapped by the intermediate Bs and the veterans and stuff, because some of them managed to get to like 4 laps, I was really happy that I was like, oh, so this is the pace they're sort of riding. And I kept pace with one of them on the 3rd lap for, I would say, a good 5 minutes, and I was really happy about that. And then obviously on one of the hill climbs that we came to, another person had fallen, and the guy ahead of me, he obviously just drove straight around the person, like, no problem, no big deal, there's a person fallen, doesn't matter. Whilst I obviously managed to overcompensate trying to get around the guy, went up the bank, lost my footing again, tiptoe, couldn't hold it, and then I fell straight into exactly the same problem that the other guy was now having. So I was like, oh, for God's sake. And it's just little things like that I really need to improve on, because then that obviously threw away about 5 minutes of me trying to pick the bike up on the hill, then trying to get up the hill, and just exhausting myself. And, you know, all of that time adds up significantly over the race. Like, you know, I fell so many times like that. I would say I probably wasted a good minimum 25 minutes just trying to get myself out of ditches and pick myself up. But that is why I'm in the novice class, because I'm literally new to this. Yeah, so whatever. I'll get better. I hope. I was also told that this trail is similar to that of like the difficulty for the corduroy, but perhaps this year I won't do it, because like as much as I want to, I'm just thinking I'm going to hour out, because I'm kind of slow and I keep falling a lot. So perhaps I'll get like another year and a lot more experience of next year's races under my belt, and hopefully there'll be a lot more races on, because, you know, COVID will have fucked off by then, fingers crossed, and, you know, the world will start getting back to normal, and I'll be able to get a lot more experience, and then hopefully a lot more practice, so that I don't fall as much. And then ideally, if I don't fall as much, maybe my times will come down, and then I'll feel way more confident about entering such a more prestigious event, where, you know, that one's in a different format. Rather than just racing 2 hours solid, you race in little stints, and then if you fall back an hour between each point, you're basically just out of the race. Oh, came in too fast. Now that was too wide, which now means this one's too wide. What am I doing? Oh my god. Oh my god, what an embarrassment. But let's have a look. Where am I? 27th. I'll take that. I think there's like 40 in the field. So 27 out of 40. I'm not really sure. Live Lap's kind of fucked up, and I can't really see. It looks like they just double posted the children's race, but whatever. I'm not first, so I don't care. I'll take 27th. Yeah, I think I just finished in this position overall. I actually can't remember. Maybe that's just last. Maybe everyone else has just crashed out or given up. I really don't know, to be honest. But whatever. Like, I'm having a good time, and this was one hell of a learning experience. Now listen to me lug the bike everywhere. Oh my god, how did I hit that tree? So shit riding. Oh well, I'll get better. Just need more practice, a lot more practice. So, yeah, we're basically getting around to the start line. I managed to finish 1 lap of Chloe's Kingdom. I did 3 overall, like I said, and I'm super happy with that. I didn't finish, I didn't smash my bike up, my hands were bleeding, blisters were ripped, but I did it. I did 3 laps. I had an absolutely amazing time, and I'd like to thank the people who organised this amazing event. Yeah, so this is Chloe's Kingdom 2021. Hopefully next year I will come back and do a lot better. Thanks for watching. See ya.